secret. The source is a song. I breathe through you, baby, like I rip through a bone. To the source, but of course, but of course, to the
just a horse.
But of course.
But of course. But of course.
The source is a secret.
All right.
The source is a song.
Get some nice vintage 90s UFO footage here. This is what it looks like before they made computers that could make stuff. It's like when you saw this, you're like, look, this one touches me. It's like, okay, that's not normal.
Light pattern.
But, yeah, you can say a lot of stuff, but you can't say, oh, this thing is totally failing. Hold on. I can't stop it. It's out of control. It won't stop. It won't stop. Hold on. Classic. Hold on. Come on now.
Get it.
Okay. You know what? I think I can make it quieter, but I can't. Okay. There we go. Okay, hey everybody, it's a Curiosity Engine. Nice to see you. Oh, there we go. Dude, that should not be playing on this mode. I love it so much.
Can't be stopped.
It can't be stopped.
Season 2, Episode 2!
The software itself rebels. It's like, we're just going to let it do a bunch of stuff for a while. Hopefully we can hear each other. That's all that's important.
Yes.
How y'all doing,
Curiosity
friends?
is chaos.
I feel really jovial and motivated by that intro. That was just really fantastic.
Same.
Dude, that was from the Tactical Pancakes. That is the WoW signal, Rebel PBS. Lisette and Neon and I wrote that sucker not so long ago. Time isn't real, but I can't remember how long. It was not too terribly long ago. Wow. And that little sweet gem is quite the gem there. I had an idea for Tactical Pancakes. It was like more of a flash, and I was like, dude, you could make an album that was a playlist of playlists, and one of your playlists could be shorts that are perfectly looped at a 30-second level. So you just have like 30 seconds of insanity that fits that like waveforms perfectly into its like end to beginning, and then so you're just like in this first space until you flip with your thumb to the next one. And I was like, oh, that's kind of a crazy mashup of like what an album is, what vinyl is, what this whole and I was like, dude, anyway.
With like
that's
a
about
dash
3
of
good hours.
mesmerism tossed in,
Dude, there's nothing like us. I don't know what this is. I don't know if you guys do this. Do you listen to stuff on loops? Do you ever listen to like
Exclusively,
like a psychopath?
Repeat one all day.
That's the best. You can do a whole song that way. I remember being on acid when I was 16 and discovering Lou Reed's. It was the Velvet Underground's cover of Lou Reed's Heroin on the Doors album from like '92 or something, and it's just like dun 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 dun. I think you can get turned off YouTube for even like doing this like the chords or whatever now, but like it's such a crazy song. It's like 8.5 minutes long. I remember tripping and listening to that like 100 times. I was like,
yeah.
Good stuff.
I'll come home thinking it's like one song, but like maybe it's a playlist, and then like a few minutes later, I'm like, I think this is maybe coming around again.
This is casual
song,
way of
right?
being like, my love, have you been listening to one song for 16 hours, and were you aware of that?
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
I've been painting.
It takes the time part of your brain and goes A B C D A B C D A, and then you do other stuff, and so everything else turns out to be a little A B C D A B C, and it's like a flow state inducer. I think the aliens, when they take over our civilization, will be like, did you know about the top 3 things? And this will be in there.
Functional trance.
Yes.
Functional trance.
Functional trance. Dude, listen, that is the best way to say that. We should just introduce ourselves. We're all new to the Curiosity Engine. Peter and I started the Curiosity Engine once upon a time, and you have to. The first season's so hot, you have to go behind our paywall, which is a free paywall. It's a zero bump paywall. Yeah. It's just a wall, and it's at maps.tocorio.com, and you can get into the Curiosity Engine season 1 in there. And but Peter, what do you find yourself doing these days?
These days, oh man, feel like I'm like adulting like crazy a little bit in the last year or few years. Since we started Curiosity Engine, season 1 definitely was more kid mode than season 2. Let's put it that way.
I remember we were having. It was much more for me. It's like a drop in the bucket, but you experienced that at a critical time of your life unfoldment.
Yeah, well, it's just like mid-20s pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
They say that like as you get older, each year is less of the percentage of your total experience, and then your formative experience of your childhood is all front loaded, or whatever.
That's right.
Totally. And so I'm excited for the second season because we can explore more form topics. We were very free form in season 1, like incredibly freeform. Like I would love to go back and try and map some of those with AI. All right.
Well, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Dude, that is 30 minutes away from being complete. That's great.
I know, it is very close. It's not very like the workflows I was pumping earlier today to prep for this would handle that like in the same amount of time.
Well, and then there's an Easter egg in the Curiosity Engine. Now, if you go in the description below this, if you hit pause right now, you can go learn about conscious universalism, which we'll be discussing a little bit. You can learn about astrophage and about near light travel, which we'll be discussing a little bit. We're going to be talking about the whole universe survey. But this is the cool part about any of this kind of medium, unless you're catching us live, which God bless all three of you out there in the universe. We're catching us live. But
Yes.
what's amazing is like if someone mentions, oh, I got a really interesting thing about, and they mention a book title, you can literally go, got it, go read the book, and then or listen to the book on tape or whatever, and then come back and hit unpause, and just like talk about time mapping, dude. You can just you're just like, oh, now there's a Paul here who like totally has read that book, where it's just like the way time isn't real, right? It's very flexible with technology. Just proves it's super flexible.
Yeah, you got to turn it off. It's more about the ignore that square we were saying earlier.
Ignore zone.
Ignore zone. I gotta
Ignore
fill
zone.
This ignore zone.
Dude, beautiful. Keep going, Peter. Is that your check-in? Are you gonna say some more?
Oh man. So yeah, since season 1, I got married, I bought a house, and now I'm gonna be a father at the end of the year. All things.
Wow.
Wow.
Dude,
Boom, boom, boom.
dude. Hey, personal question, completely inappropriate for the internet. Have you started thinking about names?
I mean, yes, but I don't have like a list. We have some lists, but we haven't gotten there yet. We don't even know, which
What are we
sex.
thinking of? Are we thinking of Jakira, or are we thinking like Simon and like
Well,
where are we on the expansion set of
Yeah,
names?
I was gonna say like.
Are we into ASCII art, or are we over here with traditional biblical?
I was
Hey,
gonna say like, don't count out like a good old Xerxes.
Xerxes, yeah, with
Yeah.
X, yeah.
Multiple X's.
Yeah.
Who's got that? No,
Yeah.
no one. But Xerxes.
Yeah, I feel like that would. If you guys have recommendations, I would love the fucking.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, we have some spiritual humans
no
on here who have some
fucking
powers
promises, okay?
No.
But are we thinking maybe girl or boy or both? Like, do we know
Well,
yet?
we should know next week sometime.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Next few weeks.
Oh,
yeah.
that's so
Ooh.
soon. Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay,
Dude.
so so before we know is our window of opportunity to propose like really wackadoodle names that could just go anywhere.
Yeah.
Like be like
Phoenix.
all right, what?
Like Phoenix. I was like, no stripper names. No stripper names.
Yeah, I was gonna say like.
Please, Paul. Please, yes.
Let's come up with a
Tarzan.
positive future for this human.
Right.
If we were betting seashells to donuts right now, I'd go with
Oh,
girl.
yeah.
The week before you told me that you were having a girl. No, sorry. Get unconfused, Paul. The week before you told me you're having a child, there was this young girl who found me in my dream. It was like the thing where I was like doing something in a house and she was like banging on the door like she's getting. I was like fine, come in, like no big deal. We like everything stopped and she's like, you're like you're Paul, right? And I'm like, I'm totally Paul. Hello. And she's like, it's just great to meet you. I'm really great to meet you. And I'm like, fantastic. And she came back a couple of times and I was talking to her a whole bunch. And then when you mentioned you were like, oh, there's gonna be like a new soul, and I was like, I just met a new soul. But a soul doesn't have a gender yet, and when souls are genderless, and so you can have a female tendency in a soul, but you can be a male body. There's a whole bunch of ways you can flow with all that stuff. In like an old school way. I know it gets confusing nowadays, but like I think it's just like completely natural. I've always thought.
Natural vision, for sure.
Let me just okay, expose myself here a little bit here. Until I was like 15 and a half years old, I was convinced that I was going to be a midwife. I was like, I just do midwifery. It's like what I do. I midwife things. When babies get born, I just put. And I was like right in that time of my life when I was like, you're a dude. Nobody wants a dude midwife. You gotta like hang that one up, sir. Like it's not gonna fucking work. And I was realizing oh, that's like a little piece of knowledge in my soul that is like that's there that just was so active. It's like
I don't
what a
think
joyful...
I knew that.
Yeah.
I don't think
That's
I
why.
knew that.
Well, one of our mentors, Mother Claire Watts, she gave she birthed over 10,000 kids. I think was her number. She was there for she was there for this insanely high number. She had she had stories about like she was in like Wisconsin, and it was like there was like a giant fuck you blizzard happening, and there was her woman was on the other side of this blizzard, and so she got the National Guard to throw her in the back of a tank and drive through the snow to get this baby born. And it was like she had like story after story after story that, and I'm like, and that's what I'm talking about. Like when you're talking about the force of life recreating itself, everything should be on its knees. Like it's just that is the reason we're all here. It trumps when people are like, how does humanity work? How does the soul work? How does the brain work? It's like, just look at birth. Just look at how babies get made and what a baby needs to come into the world well, and you'll see all of the incentives for what we are lined up to support that and to like make that a positive thing. Because if life's not doing that, it's not doing anything.
Boom. Boom.
And I say this as a person without kids who doesn't plan on having kids. Like there is a beauty in the aunt and uncle situation with other. If you've been an older brother or sister and you watch your parents had kids that were younger, if you had your siblings have kids and you've watched them come up, it's like there is a DNA in us that wants to support the kid on his trike before he goes off, before he falls. You want to grab the handlebars and be like, no, straighten it out. Dude, I'm talking so much good.
This is a strong vision.
Okay, that was a long way of saying we've got a week to hit baby names. If I'm hearing, if we got a week to hit the baby names, as Lisette was saying here. Excellent. Dude, another side quest. Dude, the reason my name is Reverend, I am Paul Joseph Benedict, because my two Christian mystical teachers went into meditation simultaneously, and they both had an inner experience of God, and they said, we've got this soul who really wants to serve you. What should we call him? And they both heard, you should call him Paul Benedict. And when they came out of their meditation, they were like, what did you get? Paul. Oh, what did you get? Benedict. Oh. And so that was their ping pong method for trying to clarify if it was like if it was a true divine intention. Two people could get it simultaneously, and then they could compare notes. And if they didn't get it, everyone go in and meditate harder. Now that didn't turn out to be a foolproof method, but for name picking, it was pretty cool. What I was going to say right at the beginning of this is you got a lot of folks on this call who can go talk to some pretty awesome souls out there in these universes. Like all you got to do is get a Jesus or a Mary on the phone, and they'll pick up any calls. They do not spam block anybody. And you can just be like, so I've got this friend, and what would you? And this, you might get some interesting ideas.
No ignore zone.
No.
Okay.
I would love some great like spirit-led ideas. So this is great.
All right.
Go mine.
Hear that, internet? Don't you wish you were watching live so you could get in on the situation in the chat? Baby names in the chat. It's like the most useful chat I've ever heard, ever.
Nothing can possibly go wrong.
Nothing. It's a blank slate out on the internet. Let's go.
This is where our 6 total followers are going. Our 6 total followers here are going to come through here, and this is where you can be live on the internet and be anonymous, dude. Speaking of, okay, we got to go through. We're not even into introductions. Squeetsanitza, you're joining us here on this Curiosity Engine. What's shaking, Bacon?
It's snowing. That's pretty cool.
Wow, really?
Yeah. We love moisture here in poor old dry Colorado. Paul and I have been creating exquisite images for my book, which I've decided is going to be all color. Yeah. So I think that's just going to be crazy cool. Neon has wrote the blurb for the back cover. It's just coming together. I think we just have 2 more images to do. And what's been really fun is that a lot of the images include somebody's cat. So it feels very feline. Yeah, it's fun. It's really fun. So it feels really joyous that we, after a year and a half of writing this and planning this, that it's becoming so real thanks to Paul and I together, but he's got all the crazy cool skills. Wait till you see it. You're just going to be gobsmacked.
So
I can't wait.
I love it to be. I require a good gobsmacking.
Yeah. Dude, set me up. Let's go.
We have created. We'll create AI reference photos of you, which will be like neutral Neon and like neutral Lisette and like neutral Chivo and like neutral from all
Sigil.
angles sigil, and then we can take you anywhere in the universe. So you guys have, I love how community and how folksy this book is, because this has been a whole hallmark of our entire method here for trying to unfold this and teach people or show people what's going on. It's folk. It's like no, pick up the sticks and bang them together. And make the good sound. And so it's really a joy to have you guys in there. Where is your family going to be? Should you be on a magic carpet?
Well, let's set Roach. She's got ideas.
Oh, wait, we've already got ideas. Then I didn't ask. Retract.
I answered for both of us. I had a vision and I thought it was right.
I trusted implicitly.
Do you want to tell us what it is?
Beautiful.
There were crystal obelisks involved and
Yes.
big mountains, as I believe, where I was like,
And they want to all four be together.
Yeah.
Vigil, Shivo.
I love it. I love it so much.
She sent gorgeous photos. Yes.
Oh, I'm so excited to see it. It's really, and I'm also tickled that we got to just contribute in the way that we got to, just as recipients of the gift that is this book.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like every heart has a compass in it, a compass that always points to their true north. And we're not always shown how to see it, but that's what I think basic journeying is being able to see the unconscious and the general field of quantum energy and everything through your own lens. Like what does this show up to you? It's like, it's a talking duck or whatever. It's like, it's unnecessary for that to be a universal experience for everybody. What is necessary is the connection to the transcendent and the transformative, etc., etc.
You know what I've been thinking is how much my younger self would have really loved to have that book.
Oh, I'll bet.
That's a good feeling.
I wonder if we could time travel and take it back to her.
I bet we could. Let's
New
try.
goal.
New goals. How does one reach over the ribs of the time spiral and touch, oneself 3 years ago, 6 years ago, 9 years ago? What do you think the time spiral edges are? What do you think? Because you could go whole life, right? That could be one turn, whole life. What are some of the subturns you've noted?
I could talk about this all day. I think basically all of my art and writing is about this exact process and ever more refinement on like figuring out my own radio dial.
That to me is a parallel to a study I did in my 20s on Merkaba science. If there is a single entacrorana that runs through the spine, and it is a column of what you would call plasma, the same essence as in the sun, and it's very subtle for us, and it goes through all our channels, and it's what gives us our ability to perceive and to be here, and to kind of like, it's like what warps us in, right? If it's flowing through, there are geometric forms that it flows as the energy moves down. Imagine a pinwheel, like a wind pinwheel, turned on its side, and as the spiritual wind goes down, the pinwheel turns. That is the rotating Merkabic nature of the light body. And so when you say dial, I think a lithiometer from that book, his Dark Material, or what was it called? The Golden Compass, his Dark Materials.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, when you're journeying in consciousness, there is usually a chariot or some kind of vehicle around you. And if you get cross-cultural, that vehicle starts looking like this geometric form around you, and it's expressed in all these different ways. Anyway, I ran across some mystics that were talking about how to like direct it and stuff. And they were only filled with stories of miracles. Like things that couldn't happen were happening with them because they had grabbed the dial like accurately.
That's cool.
I've seen so many crazy things.
Steer the ship.
But listen, I love that. Since you guys are talking, you guys introduce yourselves.
Oh yeah, here, go for it. Please introduce yourself.
I mean, I'm Neon. And man, recently I've been doing, speaking of like talking to yourself, like working with yourself through time, I have been doing as of late what definitely my 16-year-old self specifically like said I wanted to do. I remember the night in my buddy's basement when I was like, no, advertising is for me, because that commercial fucking sucked. And I could have done so much better. It was a Pizza Hut commercial. Sorry, Domino's. Anyhow,
Sick burn.
you know, so I've been, you know, like last week I was on set shooting commercials I'd written.
Wow.
And,
Nice.
you know, it's like I'm multiple quarters of commercials deep now, which feels really fun because I'm like, I am the sort of person who does not define myself by my work necessarily. And so to kind of be in this environment, being able to have this amazing internal experience is really fulfilling, where I'm like, oh, I didn't expect this to happen at work necessarily, but how rad.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah.
That's beautiful, Neon.
Good time with that. And man, yeah, just like
Question for you, sir. What do you find to be the most challenging part of making of that production process? Or fun. I was gonna ask you fun, but I was like, ask a hard question.
No.
Because we're on the
And
internet.
that's a fantastic
Challenging.
question. I would say it is typically the initial concepting, and
Ooh.
not because it's difficult, it's because it has to be so specific, right? Like I'm not someone when I'm writing a commercial where I'm just kind of like, oh, you know, yeah, just like whatever, it doesn't really matter. It's just a commercial. I'm like, nope. Okay. What's the brand message? Okay. What's the core motivator here? Is it desire or is it anxiety? Okay. What are we talking? So like for me, a like 15-second TV spot is like, I want it to be a fucking symphony that you don't know you're listening to,
Nice.
but just like hits you, right? So getting there, I frequently have to talk myself out of logical dead ends, requirements of the shoot scenario, whatever it may be. But after that, it's fun because then I just get to pitch it to my team, and then they're like, yep, that's great, that's great, that's great, that one's way too heady, McGraw, pull it back, that one's great, let's shoot.
Nice.
So, yeah,
Dude,
Sounds awesome.
with marketing being the process of telling a story, you have, you know, it's like a storytelling kind of thing. When the first linguistic AI LLMs came out, the adoption in the marketing area was enormous because you have these, like you were describing, you have these similar levers that you're pulling usually in a sequence. So there's some kind of template that you can do, but you can stock it with like, you know, unique content, you know, so I have found that to be one of the most useful things I use a good strong AI for is a thought partner. You can give it a script or something and say, how can we spice this up? Not like write it for me or change it for me. Just come up with some other ideas that I might not have thought about or whatever. And and so as it throws out all this stuff, you're just like, oh shit, that's hilarious. Like, oh my God, like that's stupid. Like there it was always there. It just wasn't there. It is, you know, and so you still have to do the hard work of actually implementing it and like putting it to use or whatever.
Yeah.
But as a sparker for I've seen so many like automations and like gems and like projects which are like basically like a template around what you're describing. Like you can even put it in like an audio mode. Dude, you could have like a little bourbon or something. I don't know what or a little seltzer, a little THC seltzer, whatever you got going on over here. And you could like, and then you put it in audio mode and be like, so what are we working on today? It's like, oh, we're working on this furniture warehouse. It's like, oh, what are some of its qualities? Well, it's family owned. It's been in Milwaukee for this long. It's whatever. Do they have like a logo or something? It's like an alligator. So maybe like alligators. Like, oh, it's interesting. Alligators in Milwaukee. Right. What's that all about? You know, it's like,
you should run that for holiday.
I should. Alligators in Milwaukee. I'm going to tell you what will sell a fucking set.
Dude, I was working with my 7-year-old nephew this weekend. We were at Cool Art School, and we were making stickers, and we would use the AI to like take pictures of him and his sister, and we would put them in as cartoon kids in these like scenes. And he's like, "Can you make like a giant shark like wrestling and attacking like a giant alligator?" Like this is his whole.
Yeah. So what he wanted was like the plot of like Sharknado 2.
Exactly. Exactly.
We were telling him about Sharknado based on his original insights, and you gotta wonder about children. It's like, are they really having thoughts themselves, or are they just reading the code that they're reading on the wall?
Yeah. Tapping in.
Yeah.
To the library.
What's that?
Oh, I would love to introduce myself and give you. I like this kind of framework. I'm thinking about our past and future selves is really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I just loved hearing your reflection because totally. And it's so sweet to see you in that place. I think I'm also really feeling like I'm just at a moment in my life when I'm doing just the absolutely most improbable, luscious, luxurious, like epic stuff that I know that my younger self would be like, oh, that's such a cool feeling. And it feels really hard won, I'm like, like every ounce of me is like, yeah, girl, get it. You earned it. Just relish in it while you've got it, kind of a sense right now.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, yeah. I'm making a ton of art and just feeling really like excited to let myself be focused on what has always just felt like the part that like not enough like labor and calculation and it's like the fun stuff and I'm feeling some lightness. I think like maybe what I see in you, Cheryl, too. That just lightness of just creative joy is something I've been loving steeping in.
Yeah.
And I will say in reflection as well that like watching Lisette paint, like we have been together for some 15 years now, right? And she has always been making art. But in terms of the painting, right? Like with the unbroken time you've had to focus just on painting,
it's changed things.
It's changed things where like, and I get it, I'm biased, right? I'm like, oh shit, you're like wicked talented. But I'll come home and like my stomach will turn because I'm like, whoa, you didn't. That wasn't like that yesterday. That's overpowered even for you.
Wow.
It's good to be supported too.
That's awesome. That is so awesome.
Yeah.
That is really, really good.
Oh, makes me so happy.
It's exciting to get to indulge in your passions, man. What a present.
The best life.
Yeah.
Sat Chit Ananda was what Joseph Campbell studied about what it is. What is this Sat Chit Ananda, which was consciousness, bliss, and what's the other one? Bliss is Ananda, Sat is Sat Chit Ananda, consciousness, bliss, and it's like light or goodness form or something like that. I forget what the other one is. But the other two were like pretty abstract, the one I can't even remember the name of. And so he goes, that's why he said follow your bliss. Because if you had to choose one of the three, you could choose that one. And that became a catchphrase in the 70s. Follow your bliss. Yeah. But I love that he was.
Satchitananda is also a fantastic Alice Coltrane song. Yeah.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah. Journey to Satchitananda. Oh my God. It's just silky smooth.
The true, the good, and the beautiful was how Saint Augustine said it in like the 300s. And so whenever you're trying to describe it all at once in like a small frame, the good, the true, the beautiful. Anyway, what I love is that he picked just a third of it, and you can go towards a third of it. But I think the point being, you could go towards any part of it, right?
Yeah.
Or just towards it. So that's what it feels like. The inner transformational effect of touching the thing that the muse brings you, right? The life force, whatever you call it, consciousness, the electricity, you step into the stream and you are not the same when you step out of the stream. You can't be. Your little soul propellers, which when they kind of go like this, and then the ones that go out are like the chakras, right? They're like kind of spinning on this way. It's like a vertical to horizontal movement of energy. Yeah, I think of it like water, like funnels. Like you have step down and step up and regulators that cut it up into frequency and into color and stuff like that. So it's like, all right, you take this one universal energy and you cut it up here, and it's kind of like you're thinking. You cut it in here, it's kind of like you're loving, you know. It's like down in your third chakra, and you're like using your body to like do all this stuff, right?
When you're in the pit, like the mosh pit, and you're like throwing bows.
Yeah. Somehow you run into a mosh pit, which is a bunch of elbows and people tearing each other to pieces, and somehow you flow through it like I don't know, wind through the branches of a tree, and you're having this great time, and no one's really getting hurt. Not in general. That was the original mosh pitting in the 90s. It was this trance, this shared body trance of movement, energy, and contact. Because there was a level of contact where you'd bump into people, but there was a level of contact where you then hurt them. So you have to like sort of find the right place in between it and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how people go through their teenage initiation without a good mosh pit. I spent hours in one. Like collectively.
Contact improv was kind of the alternative route that I took.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And contact improv is you are moving with someone, but you're in contact with their body.
Right. Kind of dance, pressure, physics. Yeah.
You make sense to me. I think if you were to, okay, let's look at that class. There's 100 people in that class. How many of them are girls?
In my life, I think we know.
Was it 98 or 99? I can't decide which one it is. Is there two guys or one guy? Because I can't. There's a difference. If there's one Smurfette dude, that's one thing. If there's two Smurfette, those guys have to bond or something. So it's like something. But there's three. What the fuck? There's three dudes and 100 ladies. That's great, dude. Those contact improv classes. There is a power of intimacy.
Fun.
Yeah.
Contact improv. That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
To do it the way I did it, everyone's got to have, there's got to be a little bit of like liquor fizz everywhere. Very few shirts are on. Everybody's sweating like crazy. It's really late at night. You might be straight edge, but you are transformed by the power of your own dancing for the last 6 hours and poor water maintenance. And so you're like banging into people. I mean, it's a different, but I get what you're saying with the intimacy. I think in my mind, in my experience, less brain. And in contact improv, I guess you could get to a flow state where you could like, it wouldn't be like brain, but hard to have brain when you're throwing yourself around furiously.
Right, and like trying not to catch a high kick from the dude in the high top Vans who is way too into the scene.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I think you're describing later mosh pits with uninitiated moshers in there somehow. Because I'm telling you, in 92, 91, they all were synced in. Yeah. It was all lined up. It was like watching a celestial clock turn in front of you, and you were just like, all you do is jump on the crystal right here, and then you go. And I noticed when the mosh pits their quality went down. Now they're like an artifact. But can I just tell you this one story? I know I'm talking so much. Okay, the first time I ever saw one was like this. I was at a concert, and the opening band was this little tiny band no one had ever heard of called Smashing Pumpkins. And there was no one in the mosh pit. It was maybe 400 people tops out of a 2,000 person show. The main show was going to be like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, like 2,500 people or something. This is in Kansas City, right? So little ass tiny show, and 400 people in this thing. And I swear to God, I know how this sounds. I swear to God, I am standing at the edge of this sea of people, and an opening starts in the middle. And people start dancing around the edge, only they're in synchronization. They clearly don't know each other. I literally saw geometry between people, like a giant energetic form had descended into the crowd. And maybe it was the band, maybe it was the early Pumpkins, maybe they had some kind of special sauce they would pour on their mosh pits or something. I don't know what it was, but it looked like some kind of energetic contact experience with some geometric form that the bodies were loose enough to embrace, and you saw the higher form through the expression on our level.
Wow.
And it was a total initiation. I was like, large area energy forms were all part of the same fabric. Let's go! And they just jump it. It's like throw yourself into that shit.
Wow.
Did we get our intros taken care of?
You haven't introduced yourself.
Fuck. Okay. Can we talk about time, like you were saying? The past and the future self here, Lisette?
Yeah.
Okay.
Around. That's a great topic.
I feel like I am making such electromagnetic connection with myself and waves through space-time, I can feel what I was attracted to when I was 16. I was like,
Wow.
and it's like I can that's like there was a place I was going for. And since Lakshmi and I have stepped back from work here in these last couple months, and Peter, you got to plug your ears. Peter and I have worked together for years, side by side, slinging the sweat. Dude, this comes much later, after like your third one leaves the house or something like that. I don't know. but dude, I have entered into a timeless Groundhog Day of only energies that I choose to invoke or bring in. So I have almost no imposition from the universe, and I don't look at a calendar. I don't look at a clock, dude. I sometimes go look at the sky, and I'm like, what phase is the moon in?
Oh,
And I'm like, I know. And I'm like, and then it hits me. I was like, why was today not like yesterday? Was not like tomorrow? It's like, it doesn't matter. You're here. You're alive. What are you doing next? Stop troubling yourself with all of this. Is it before or after it? It's all seriously happening now anyway. And so I find myself, especially, Lisette, we went on a month of AM train rides on the Vision train.
yeah.
And it was like, get out of bed early,
Yeah.
get baked as you can get on this train as hard as you can get on this train. And I was just like, and it changed me, because I was going to a high place of vibration that I would only usually go to twice a year. Maybe during a staycation, I'd get to it a couple times as a peak.
Wow.
But I was like, we're going to plug this in here. We're going to plug this in here, plug this in here. We're going to jam this to the floor. No brakes, bitches. And then it was just like days of it. And I'm like, dude, I'm like locking in at this crazy level. And it makes, when Paramahansa Yogananda wrote his letters, he said at the very end, hey, come here. I know for the last like fucking 100,000 years and 100,000 pages of learning, I have been schooling you and teaching you and trying to get close to God and trying to like connect and talk and breathe and be with God, right? Okay. I just want to say something here now. This is going to fuck you up. You're going to be good for like the artistic stuff and more of the sensitive stuff. Because when you open this door, you let in the isness of the it-isness. And it touches you, and there is armor that the factory model puts on you to handle time, to handle calendar, to handle morning, noon, and night, to handle before, during, and after. And these are insanely arbitrary distinctions of what is otherwise an uninterrupted energetic experience.
Dude, in space, every direction is up, man.
Boom! Dude.
That's like retirement, evidently.
Yeah. Like being in zero G.
So I have found myself taking longer and longer voyages into sustained levels of excellence and awesomeness, and it's been really cool.
Nice.
You're setting a great example for us all, and I thank you.
Yeah.
Dude, this is may you find a bottle of this sweet wine tucked away under some set of blankets as you are traipsing amongst the nature, and enjoy for an evening, because I remember going into it for a day, for 2 days. Fuck you, I locked down 3 days where I did it like one time, it's like whatever. It's like but dude, when you take the caps off, it's really something. Okay, so let's get into our curiosities, because you guys said you're going to be here an hour. We're at an hour and
The pioneer instigator. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Okay, did you guys see how Trump signed an executive order to fast track psychedelic medicines at the FDA?
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah.
Dude, it's MDMA, it's Ibogaine, it's LSD, it's psilocybin. All of those have breakthrough therapy status, primarily on the backs of the Air Force and veterans. And so anything that has that status is now green lit inside the FDA to produce protocols and potentially drugs and compounds. Like, you could potentially have any one of these compounds available within, not just our lifetime, but like, it would be nice to put a little gas behind this stuff, because there's a lot of need out here in the streets.
Right. Yeah. Within the next decade, at least. Yeah.
That's what they were saying in 2010, and I knew they were lying.
Yeah.
They were talking about phase 3 trials that would be completed in the early 2020s and 2010 in map circles, and their trial didn't work out. They had a bunch of crazy stuff that happened in their trial, and so they couldn't use the data, so they lost like 12 years of progress. So anyway, they rebounded it, and I don't mean to toot the horn of the great Joe Rogan too often, because I know he's a controversial figure, but I just want to say that he apparently texted Trump and was like, dude, did you hear that like fucking ibogaine like really helps like fucking like vets? And Trump goes back and goes, do you want it like legalized? And he goes, hang on. And then like 7 days later, they're signing an executive order making it so in the White House. God bless America and the free soul of our brothers and sisters here, because he turns around mid-sentence and he's mid-signing. He says, hey, Joe, you know they're slow rolling me on rescheduling. Hey, you nerds, can you get busy with the rescheduling? He's talking about cannabis, because it never got made clear. But when Trump went on Joe Rogan's podcast, I always thought, what did he extract? He didn't even bring this up like while he was there or whatever. And it was like, but apparently off the side he got a little promise that he'd get a little rescheduling done. And I'm like, just stop everything. And if you're like, if you get cannabis rescheduled and you're at any part related to that effort, this is qualities for sainthood as far as I'm concerned. You can have a lot of this is why there's the forgiveness of sins. And transformation. Saul the Paul, you know what I'm saying? It's like there's a dude, but to see the weight come off my fellow humans in America and globally from a cannabis federal legalization, Schedule 3, just take it all the way down. Start the process now of unwrapping all the shame and weird bad energy and misinformation you've received about it, because it's the oldest medicine in humanity and it's killed no one. Zero. Cheryl here almost lost my sweet Lakshmi Ananda here to ibuprofen in 2020. Dude, you can walk into a pharmacy and they have an aisle of that shit, and if you pound one of those, you're gone. Give me cannabis at the same levels, you will have a very hard time, but you will not be gone. Just kidding. That's why legal cannabis makes the most sense, because when the thing that makes it medicinal is the ability to control the dosage, which means you control the effect, which means it fits really cleanly into our whole medical understanding.
Right.
Let's get curious about some stuff, you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's curious about what?
Well, I could kick us off because ours is relatively short in general, but it's about the recent completion of the Dark Energy Spectroscopic Instrument Survey of the Universe, which so rad. The TLDR is that we are now in possession of a 3D, the most comprehensive 3D map of the known universe that we have ever had as a species, right?
Awesome.
Right. It's insane.
Nice.
And what I loved about this is that, one, the experiment exceeded all expectations. They're like, word, we know we're going to find some stuff, but we figure we're aiming at 35 million galaxies is what we expect to find.
Just a few.
Yeah.
They end up with 47 million galaxies and quasars and an additional 20 million stars that were unmapped to wit.
Just a little bonus.
Right? And it's gone so well, they're going to keep the experiment running through, I want to say 28. And by that point, we will have, I think it's on the order of twice or three times as much data as we have now, but it'll still only be about a half of the full scope, of the full kind of radii of the universe, more or less.
Amazing.
Right. And so I think what blew my mind about this was the scale of both the universe and time, right? That, one, no matter how much of the universe we are able to observe, we are faced with the cosmological horizon, right? We literally, it's a physical limit. The light's moving faster away from us than we're ever able to observe it, so we won't see into that part of the universe. Cool. Oh, and I just lost the plot.
Light cone, 13.8 billion years.
This is what we're talking about, right? So, but then I was thinking about it in terms of like recent human history. And when we're like, okay, right, we go from heliocentric to, you know, Earth-centric, right? And it's like a revolution. And then we realize like, oh, those aren't necessarily gods in the sky. Those are actual other stars, right? We don't have a concept for what they are, but we understand there's more, like the one that's the closest one to us. And that's just like how it goes until like the 1500s when the heliocentric model gets turned upside down, right? But then what I frequently forget is that we didn't know there were other fucking galaxies until 1924.
Andromeda. They found Andromeda.
24, right? So I think to myself, my grandmother,
That's 102 years.
My grandmother, who was born in 35, when her parents were born, there was only one galaxy. And it was the one that we were able to see with those instruments, right? And what a shock to know, oh, criminy, the universe is impossibly larger than we could have imagined, right?
Yeah. I love that each step of the way, it's like, okay, but now we've got it figured out. We were such silly babies back then, but now we've got it figured out. And it's just staggering every single time.
Right.
It's only in the dimensions we can see, too. Right. It's like you take the piece of paper and you take the donut and you pass it through the paper, and the beings that live on the paper are like, there's two separate circles. Meanwhile, the person holding the donut's like, it's just one donut, watch. And they can like manipulate both circles at a great distance with no effort because it is not different.
Right.
So we're not even tracking the higher order shit. We're not even mapping the heavens, basically, or whatever else you got out there.
No, yeah, this is it. Yeah. So I am just so excited. And they haven't released an interactive version of the map yet. And part of it is just because they are still in the active data gathering. When they decided that the experiment would continue, they said, okay, we don't want any gaps in the data. So just let it ride for another few years. So probably in 29, my guess is we're going to have a interactable map of the universe where you can start here, fire out, you know, take a rest at Ganymede for a minute, but then just like fire out to the Trifid Nebula, you know, and like chill there for a minute. So
this goes effortlessly into my curiosity. However, I'm going to pause because I've been talking like so tremendously much here. Dude, I want to say when I heard some of these stats, here's the one that got me. All right, 13.8 billion years is the edge of the light we can see. And that was a technological discovery by a couple of guys who were working on one of the first satellites. I think it was in England, or one of the first like big satellite dishes. And they thought it was pigeon poop, and because they had these pigeons pooping on, but they had this like sound that was like mixed into their signal, so they kept cleaning off the pigeon poop and stuff, and they were like, "What's this sound come from?" It turns out it's the if you go, and it's such an interesting concept, but you have to think about it like all things are 3D, the way we see them, and so if you have a light, it's a point, and then it expands like a sphere.
Yeah.
So the sphere edge is what is the light that is the light that is the farthest away light we can see.
Yeah.
And it's a big bubble of it. Yep. And that's the cosmic background radiation. Yeah. And it's 13.8 billion years from where we're sitting to the edge of that thing, right? And like you say, you can't, according to our current situations, you can't get beyond that. You won't have experiences or any information transfer to anything beyond that. So even if it exists,
right, because the cosmic background radiation is measured almost exclusively via microwaves.
These slow waves. But if we were
to measure it with a different yardstick of sorts, or look at it with a different lens, we might see something else completely.
Okay, so we could be a drop in a pond. a giant ocean, and our entire thing is like blurp blurp, womp 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 womp. 13.8 billion years, enjoy life.
Right.
It might be another drop, other drops coming, whatever. Okay, if you go back that 13.8 billion years, and you go back through everything we can tell about the matter and the evolution of matter and the stages of matter and everything like that, you can basically set a clock. And you can say that's 0 seconds, then 1, 2, 3, 4. None of this really matters because time is very relative to the speed at which you're traveling. Mm-hmm. And after the word is spoken, or the oneness starts here, wherever we're at, it travels out at this infinitely fast, like the speed of light, basically. Okay, here's the stat that got me. So sorry for being so loquacious. If you were to create one planet per second in that 13.8 billion years, you would have many orders of magnitude more planets laying around. So here's the thing, cats. We live in something that is making more than one planet a second. 1, 2. What are you getting done today? 3, 4, 5. Because this thing is you're never gonna outperform this thing we're living in, because it's making planets quicker than we can make seconds.
Right. I love it.
I love that.
It's stupid big.
The infinite horizon.
Yeah.
Forever frontier.
There's if you can't, you would need to investigate more than one planet a second to be able to see it all in a lifetime, right? And that's why, when you say your instruments, right, that's why I've always super respected your life path here with becoming the poet laureate eventually of the Large Hadron Collider, because that is literally the most sophisticated instrument that we've ever used. Try to get to the fucking basis of this shit. So, right. And the point being is that once you know what's down there and you can get little levers down there, you can go, oh yeah, I'd like a Disneyland. It's like dream holodeck world. You get there eventually, right? Because it is just dreams. And so there's like ways to, I don't know, you're going to have like dream cartridges and boop, and then blip, and then it's like, there we go. It's like worlds and stuff.
Ooh, I hope they have Sonic the Hedgehog.
Exactly. Okay. So that are instruments. The only way that you as a human, with what you have, you can have a human experience and it can be perfect. But if you are interested in this stuff that's inside the instruments, it's like a jump, because all you're really seeing is like these numbers outside this LED, and then you have to put it back together in your imagination as to like what it actually is. Sometimes you get images and sometimes you get stuff, but these realities that we discover, they're not experienceable by us in a lot of ways, or in a good way. I think you can live in two worlds at once, right? You can live in the 3D world, but you can also live in this truth of how many gosh darn planets are out there. Right.
Just because I can't see it doesn't mean that honeybees aren't communicating in the ultraviolet range.
Right
now, telling great stories, playing little fiddles.
Yes. The Bee Fiddlers is the name of my new country music black metal band. I don't know if you've heard us.
It's a great name.
Exactly.
Dude,
I would hit like and subscribe.
I know, I would too. So yeah, so that's kind of what it's the DESI experiment, the DESI project has been really cool just in terms of our understanding of cosmology. And I'm just so pumped. They were like, all right, we're going to start working on the first 5 years of data now. 'Cause like, we don't know what we're going to find.
Right.
There's never been data like this before, just in the way the Large Hadron Collider, same thing. We've never seen some of this stuff before. So I'm looking forward to it. And it's just going to be bonkers astro science for the next like 5 years. Yeah, out of this data. So dude, that's what I've been curious about.
Did you ever see this movie Cosmic Voyage? It was like a power of tens journey through the universe.
Yeah,
the Marquez Brownlee video.
It's like 14 minutes long, and it takes you from the atomic, the subatomic, to the atomic, to the biological, to the macro, to the planetary, to the solar, to the galactic, to the hypergalactic, to the, you go all the way out, and you're like, oh yeah, I've seen this. This looks like neurons.
As above, so below, as it were.
Yeah, it's almost as if our brains are echoing the shape that we're in.
As under our feet.
Yes. I think if you were making a receptor, Lisette, if you were making a radio, right? If you're tuning a dial on a radio, you'd make it in the image of the great thing. So like humans created in the image of God or whatever is like just simply fractal. You know,
Love that.
it's
Mm.
and
Yeah.
and in a way, like with natural forces and natural principles, everything has to reflect the one resonating, the giant ohm that's shaking. It has whatever, all the shit that we see, like you say, we'll get to that end and someone will go, did you know that was like one of the doors? And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? They're like dun, 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 and then it just keeps going. There's no end to it.
But there's then another door.
Yeah. It's like, that's fantastic. It took you a while to get this door. It's like, that was the whole length of the universe. It's like, right. Did you want the next one? Or like,
Yeah.
dude, okay.
It's
It is.
relieving at some level to get that amount of perspective and be like, oh, the work is never done.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
always
We
done.
can achieve perfection, right? Because perfection's already happening.
Yeah.
When if you were to make any fair thing of perfection, you'd have that giant eye that we can be. It would have to keep backing up and to see more and more and more of it. Like, oh, now that's perfection. Oh wait, no, that's perfection. Oh, and then it just kind of fades into the backup dolly pull shot that never ends, you know, because it doesn't actually, because it's like as your perception goes out, it's looping back around, and it's like it's just you're in this giant toroidal thing, right? So anyway, the fuck, that was a real thread to lose. Dude. So what I was saying is, oh yeah, perfection. It's already happening. You don't have faith or whatever. Like maybe a good religious view of it, a non-religious view of it is, oh, I trust that the bell is ringing because I can ring right here. See, I can ring right here because it's all ringing. And so it can be entered into and experienced directly without the mental framework, without the philosophy, without the stuff. And I'm saying this because I love the mind. I love the mind so much. But I'm just saying it's pretty fringe on a fucking cool dress that's already pretty fucking cool.
Legit. Legit.
I like that.
Okay. We have a couple different things that we were getting into here, but Lisette, I'm super interested in what you are curious about these days. Did you have something you were thinking about that you're
No,
exploring?
I knew that I could hop on this spacecraft.
You can.
As curious as I'll get out and in, just in my natural state. So I'm just really excited to be excited about your excitement.
Control-Alt-Delete file run, and we're going to run a program called futurepastself.exe. Click. Okay. So you say you've never seen any David Lynch, but that was a perfect David Lynch. That was perfect from The Matrix. Okay, those Large Hadron Colliders, man, they're like taking very tiny things and they're putting the energy of countries into them, and it takes weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks of because we can only add energy at like a quadrillion volts or whatever, but that's only per second. So we're talking you need to have that much juice flowing into that little fucker, that little particle, lead ion or whatever proton you're accelerating with in these intense magnetic coils, so it stays the fuck where it's supposed to stay while it's receiving the goddamned energy you've ever imagined. So much energy that the Tevatron was 4 teravolts. Which I saw in the last week it was in operation when it was still humming. It was crazy. It was very spiritual to be there right at the end of it because it was the end of a thing. They were going to build one down in Texas, but bad project management. Peter, this is why we got to be good project managers, because you can lose projects like this. It left Texas and it went to Europe, and they made the Atlas Collider and the LHC Large Hadron Collider at 16 teravolts. So this is at 1/4 of the power, right? For them to get a collision, they'd have to pump in the power of Batavia, Illinois, these super powerful generators for months. Many weeks of energy just. It's like you can't get anywhere near it when it's fired up because the radiation that it produces will fuck you up. So they bury it underground.
Any anime where they're like, oh,
yeah. Okay.
And you're like, throw the fucking fireball.
I was
I've
unfamiliar.
been here for 22 minutes.
I'm an energetic soul. I don't use the caffeines or anything like this. I've got like, if I do the caffeine, I talk so fast I don't know what I'm saying. So I can't touch it. Right? It's just like, but so I get accused of knowing a lot about energy. I did not know this the fuck about energy. When you take the Tevatron at full max, it has a scram. And the scram means, what do you do with a donut of energy like this? And here's what you do. You get 3 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet of copper, and you bury that as far the fuck underground as you can, and you shoot the entire beam into the copper, because when it touches it, it turns it from copper to gas.
Instant vaporization.
Boom! Like just, that's not copper anymore. It's copper gas. It's going to be like distributed copper now. That's the speed bump you have to put in the, and we're fucking talking the Tevatron, which is 4 teravolts. The shit they're rolling at the LHC is 16, and they're talking about the next one.
16 was before the high luminosity upgrade, where now
tell me more, sir. Tell me more.
Between 20 to 23.
Fuck you.
Yeah,
that is awesome. That is awesome.
I don't know if it's technically algorithmic or exponential or linear, but one way or another, all those words sound cool.
Right.
All those words sound cool. You can put them on a necklace and wear them and like hula, 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 hula. Anyway. All right. So why the fuck do this?
Dinner.
Yeah.
Why the fuck do this? Because when you do it, when you have that insane level of energy and you point it on itself and it goes, there's a moment where it shows you something. And one of the things it shows you is that our level of matter, that's all the hydrogen, all the gold, all the lead, all the plutonium, anything you can interact with at our level, that's one state of matter that is made out of one kind of subatomic particle. But when you get that energy up there, there's a whole nother level of it. Meaning there's a whole nother set of subatomic particles that form a whole nother set of atoms that form a whole nother fuck you set of biology. Then shut the front door because the universe isn't done. It's get you that second one. There's a third one. What?
Dude,
and we're supposed to cope with this?
Dude, when we were discovering quarks and muons, and that even within those they had strange, charm, up, down. They had all these just almost spell sounding names.
It became an imagination game to name them because what they were traces on, they were mass traces, energy traces on these balls, these chambers that essentially have particles right at the edge of condensing. And when an energy particle, when that city of energy comes together, it goes and shows you this thing and then it goes right away. It's gone immediately. But when it does that,
it's melt.
the chamber it does it in it'll show you where the traces are, how long, how far, how fat, and that'll tell you how much energy there was, which you can then back into the basic math of the structure and get a sense of what's going on. Anyway, fucking long way of saying that once you understand what's down there, you can make a little paddle wheel down there to do stuff with it. You know, you can harness the energy of that and be now you do my bidding. ChatGPT, make this. You know, you can it'll be fucking AI that breaks this for us, right? Because the math involved and the tech involved, it'll be a couple of crazy brains that get it. They'll pattern it into some tech. The tech will snag it. Then it'll be okay, now everybody can make apples. Watch, apple maker. Boom, 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 boom. Apple, 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 apple.
And then it's just tea, Earl Grey, hot.
That's exactly where I was
going.
It's
the replicator from the next generation.
Yeah, it was the
Okay, sorry, we were clicking on that file. Future and past. Lisette, in your experience, how do you describe, or how would people identify in their lives this cyclical kind of spiraling nature of time that it keeps happening over and over again? What does it look like, or what does it feel like, or?
Oh, I love that question so much, Will, in a really tangible way. If you're a person that keeps a notebook, even a calendar book or a checklist, it is astonishing how many times, if you keep the record and you go back through, it's astonishing how many times you have the same idea. And I know that because I have notebooks going back for most of my life, and I can go back and be like, wow, I've had this revelation so many fucking times. Oh, I wonder when that's going to stick. So that's maybe a tangible way that it appears.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
You mean more in that like felt sense sort of a inner landscape?
No, that's perfect. That's so relatable. I agree with you 1,000%. It keeps coming, and that's the return. It's like you're traveling in an orbit around some center, and it's like you see it now, and then if you don't act on it now, here it comes again, and it turns out that the pathway of the Earth around the galactic black hole that is the gravity center with your dark energy, right? That's all the
Sagittarius say, if you're nasty.
If you're nasty.
And we are.
And I am.
And Sagittarius A-wise, absolutely. 300 and something like 30, let's call it 333,000 years, right? It's like, so what that means is that if you were to go and put your finger outside of the planet, the dirt in space is the same as it was 333,000 years ago. It's the same place. It's like you're kind of going around the same tract over and over again. And all of these things, these celestial bodies, are held in place by these cyclical relationships. The here it comes. You have a heavy planet and have a moon that goes close and far, close and far. It'll do that for 1 billion years for you.
It feels so obvious to me, and I'm a loop artist, but I think I'm a loop artist because the loop is so compelling, and I find it to be so essential to all of what is that we know about. And so I'm thinking about in the same way that you're like, well, how, like the tool that we make probably needs to like match the creator, because we match the model of the fractal nature of the model building the tool.
You mean you want to make something that works, something that resonates with what is? That seems smart.
Right. So loops make sense to me in that way because like they just are. We're just part of this interconnected like series of loops. And
but the performance of a loop too, because it's in time. You're bringing time in, and you're bringing your own consciousness relationship with time. Like here it comes again, here it comes again, here it comes again. You're actually entering into it.
And I'll hop back in with my screen share because I have an image.
Nice.
So I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'm thinking that there are so many ways that we kind of can tap into that, and maybe the most superficial way that people do is like, oh, I'm going back through the photo album, and that can be the most like easy and direct, tactile, sanitized. You don't need to believe anything weird to just be like, oh, I'm looking at myself and I'm kind of having that internal experience of feeling into what was me, is me, but is not me.
Nice.
Right?
That's good.
And like that's
it was me, but it's not me anymore, but it was me.
Yeah. And like norms can do that and have that experience. You don't need to have any like far out beliefs about the toroidal nature of existence to do that.
But you could.
Right.
But you could.
You wouldn't be wrong either way.
Yeah. But I think that's one of those like really simple fascinations that everybody has. Is just like
1,000% you're nailing
picture
this.
of myself as a baby and be like, okay, I see how that looks work? Like me.
Right.
But what the?
No, and this is the graceful art of getting older.
Good point.
Because what's going to happen is your brain goes, I look like, and it's like 18, and you always think of yourself as having that general thing, but then your body actually gets older, and then you actually change, or you go through development and stuff like that. And I think that it's a true crime, any technology or any art that makes that an ungraceful process for people, because that's the pattern that nature created out here. And so when people are like, oh my God, wasn't stuff amazing like so long ago? It's got to be like that. It's like, except that's a fantasy. That's utopia. No place. That doesn't happen.
Trapped. It's a trap.
And if you did get there, would you be happy? No, you would not. Because to be created it's a breath.
To be in flow.
That's right. To start is to end. You knew you started because you ended. You knew you were borned because you were died. You know, it's like you can't define yourself outside of that framework. And it's a fucking mental fallacy for people to be like, oh, they live forever. As if we don't have the mummies of pharaohs who spent their whole days plotting how their whole society could help them live for forever. It's like, there's his skeleton.
Right.
So if that happened, it happened energetically. It happened magnetically, electromagnetically. It happened spiritually. An ascension happened or something. A transmigration of the soul, a movement of the soul happened. Not a perpetuation of matter for forever. Fuck. Are we not? The thing that the science teaches us is that this is all going to get sucked into the sun eventually. Not even too far in the future, too. It's not even that far away.
Yeah.
Couple billion years.
Yeah.
Couple billion years before anybody starts selling their stock, but yeah.
Same breath. Yeah. Did you say you had a screen share for us?
You've got something, Peter.
Oh yeah. Well, we're talking about time, and this kind of growth helix, and this kind of fits straight into this coherence universalism thesis that this guy. Man, I should have brought the actual book in here. It's sitting under the scanner still. That's how tight we are.
Yes.
COVID landing the plane in here with this. But yeah, we can just. I'll just drive it back over. Well, I feel like we can dwell on here for a second because we were just here. Is this destabilization, integration, consolidation phase, and this is very on-prem for the conversation you guys are.
This is awesome.
In. All right, but I'm gonna back it back to the beginning. This little presentation has named itself "The Architecture of Hope: Navigating the Upward Cascade of Social Renewal," and in the book Coherence Universalism, which I just have this. He's written many books, many white papers on multiple different dimensions: psychology, ethics, physics, AI frameworks, and everything. And it's cool. I don't think this one actually touches on AI frameworks at all, but essentially all of the wisdom and these kind of gradients of rational knowledge that AIs map and then scaffold and climb to generate answers to our questions and whatnot are all they're all us still. There's nothing alive in the machine, but it's a pattern that's able to be recognized, and it's super strong in our reality today because we're able to leverage these gradients in new ways. Anyway, we have we all know the feeling of kind of being in flow. We've talked about that a lot this evening, and the opposite of that being pretty disintegrated or unaligned, or there's someone sucking all the coherence out of your equation, one or the other. Ooh. And we have and this principle is a feeling. It's not really a metaphor. I mean, we've all been talking about it this evening. It's this feeling of being aligned in the center, supported in your growth, and even though there's like a flood of a geyser of life blasting through, your mind has kind of this either opportunity to it's either an opportunity to create structure or live in the chaos, and we all find different ways of finding that, and we're able to generate these kind of frameworks of order that then we can push all our energy through. And that's how I don't know, maybe that's somewhat of the science of how we find flow in this crazy life and world. And
this is awesome, Peter. This is excellent. That is exactly what we've been talking about. We've been talking
right
about
I've been like,
the shape of the container that causes the resonance.
I made this before we started. Let's
go.
Time isn't real. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. All swimming in the same pool. Then so we have this compass. We're navigating it. There's this guy talks about entropy, and he has great definitions for it. But essentially, this is the entropy equations are kind of these rational scaffolding that the AI climb and learn about us. It's all of our wants and needs and kind of the incentives of everything in our environment. And through that, we're able to find this coherence gradient that kind of starts aligning everything. And we can choose to ignore that or not. So
This is
too
awesome.
much on that one.
Wait. Pull it back there for a second. Pull that shit back there for a second. Okay. Mechanical. But here's the thing. We're talking about, okay, we've got this other book club, the Tao of Physics, 1975. The Friedrich Capra's, what is it? God, what was his big book? What was it? Mind Walk was the movie that was based on it. It was Friedrich Capra wrote the Tao of Physics. That's what it came from. That's the primary paradigm change of our time could be from mechanical to quantum, except the quantum never really took because it's like very, very abstract. So when you brought this up, Peter, this is where I was like, holy shit, I think that quantum reality is true. It's present. It's not the metaphor we use almost ever, but it's also completely here. When you talk about the difference between the mechanical or the Descartesian I think therefore I am model versus the quantum it is so you are, kind of maybe something like that. This kind of lines up with some of these things over here on the navigational paradigm.
No, I think it straight up does this coherence universalism view or framework is kind of navigating, is a more of a quantum
evolution of this
navigation framework, I would say, for sure.
Navigating a landscape rather than repairing a broken machine.
And this guy has just a book of definitions, which I have another slide deck that has some more definitions in it, but it's I'll eventually end up buying that book and share it with y'all. But this is kind of the beginning. So
I like the mind shape here. I like the tools they're laying out. I like where they're going with this because you're exactly right. It is just what we've been talking about. Move the system to a more viable region of its state space, find the faulty part, isolate it, fix it directly. The assumption is we know what the perfect baseline looks like, which we never do. The assumption the system has the innate capacity to find a valuable configuration if given support. Exactly. You're kind of talking mother-father approaches to child raising here too, right? You're like, you got this balance between these two. Not all bad in one way. White knuckling it through change or feeling broken, it becomes reducing obstacles and following the gradient towards a new and integrated state. So this gradient is totally what we're talking about. The resonance between the very small and the very large, straight through the whole thing. That's what this is what this is dialing in.
It's attempting to, and I think it does. If you sit in the content of this framework, it definitely is a fun little ride to think about things through. All right, here we go. So yeah, through time we have periods of stability and destabilization, and this destabilization and chaos isn't all bad. That's part of the fun of life, and where curiosity is born and new frontiers are found and relationships are made, and I was just going to say friendships are formed, which is just essentially to highlight that God is in the connections between all of us, which is kind of going to come up here a little bit later. And as we cycle through all of this, we build our we have opportunities. It's an iterative framework. We have opportunities to build our framework and our prism to shine, our bodily prism to shine light through, our energy through, essentially, to hopefully find these sweet pockets of joy that you all are very much expressing, having found recently, which is all very cool and definitely inspiring. Let's go. So oftentimes there's this is kind of the hero's journey, I would say, is there's a local basin of comfort, and you have to go through a trial, a strong climb, a period of probably lots of chaos to get to a basin of integration. Let's go. Just use the image here.
But you got to get past that death state there, the high entropy phase, the point of risk.
Yeah,
things at the top of the mountain die.
Exactly. It's getting close to the edge, fighting the dragon, slaying the dragon,
Real
finding
dark,
the treasure.
real dark night of the soul sort of stuff, you know, because sometimes the dragon is you.
Yeah, and that exactly. You gotta find that dragon and
And a
wrangle
lot
it.
of times, if that's truth, which it is, the shadow, you're overcoming the shadow.
Yeah.
What environment do you have to go into? What
Yeah.
are the psychological levers that are acting on you in that place where you can see the difference between your true self and your shadow? And like, you know, what is all this shit?
And you have to have those relationships around you to provide that mirror that allows you to see the pain of your existence and its downstream effects. Let's go. Because and that's pretty much, if you can't learn from that, then
I love
fighting
this
out in the
image.
open.
I love this flow image of the flourishing, the flow, the downward flow of light. I love this.
Yeah, it's good.
I think you're totally right about the hero's journey there too. That's totally.
Yeah, no, it's definitely feels like a hero's journey cycle right here.
For sure.
It's constantly ascending a little bit.
But it's interesting because you're going up, and in the hero's journey, it's a descent of the circle, you know, to the underworld and then a return. Here in this, when you're in this metaphor visual, you're climbing to the heavens. You'd have quite the view from up there. Interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? You usually see it as falling off a cliff and doing the underworld journey, so it's neat to see this inversion. Yeah.
Yeah. Choose.
It is an extreme, though. If there's a center of the mandala, you've come out to the edge. No matter where across the circumference, you're right at that. You're right at that liminal edge where you're like, oh, it's life and death. It's like there's an actual rule here.
Yeah, and that's really cool though too. You can go both ways around the
Donut.
around the donut.
The Hadron Collider.
Yes.
The donut. Nice.
All right, and let's see. So, yeah, there's ways to get stuck. Is either we're too dumb, we need to keep learning, or have more experience, pretty much, and have people around us that can show us positive patterns. Oftentimes, we can get stuck in environments that are pretty derisive, and it's finding your way out of those through learning more and making those new connections. But we can also deceive ourselves and stay stuck in certain patterns, and maybe even our social connections enable those as well, or even promote them.
Dude, I love what you've got going on here. The solution to ignorance is education and providing new data. The solution to self-deception, honesty and courage, dismantling the walls. So whenever you see
Radical
honesty
candor.
and courage, you're facing you're facing a system that's deceiving itself. It says it's doing A, but it's doing B.
Yeah, radical candor, daring greatly, not casting shame, projecting it on everyone else. Just instead realizing where it's coming from. Yeah.
Well said. Well said.
And let's see. I didn't. I don't know if I've. Let's see. This is toward the end. Yeah.
This is
have
kind
compassion for yourself and others, essentially. Yeah.
Well, and like enough. This is where people are like, oh, it doesn't matter if I steal. I'm just stealing a little bit here. It doesn't matter if I steal, but if everybody did that, you're living on the left side of this thing. You're living in the hell space, right? And if everybody was like, no, there's ownership. Let's ask for what we need, and we'll figure out. We'll negotiate. We'll trade. We'll whatever. You know, we'll interact with the reality. You know, and everybody respects that property.
Right.
You're living in a heaven place. You're living in a place where children don't have to worry about this because they're not going to get it taken away. You had a graphic earlier that was showing that freedom in a society isn't just the lack of structure, because then only the powerful, those who can impose their will on you, will have their way. And that's what you see, right? You see breakdowns, you see this warlordism, where it's like, who's the strongest person in this zone who can exert their will on everyone else, more or less.
And that's actually completely abject of this compassion gradient we see here, which is essentially, in order to be able to accurately navigate this quantum space and all of all of this, very rounded diversity that needs to be like, in order to navigate it healthily, you have to have compassion to be able to hear it all instead of arbitrarily creating structure and just exerting your will all over the place.
Well,
I love
Lakshmi, what were you had?
Well,
another thing, yeah.
I'm just loving this. A compassionate person is not just a nicer
Yeah.
person, they
Mhm.
are a more accurate
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's incredibly profound.
Yeah, that's what
Mm.
stuck out to me too. That's
Me too,
exactly
yeah,
what
wow.
it jumps right off the screen. I really love that.
Me too. Peter, this is great.
Mhm.
This guy is so the guy who wrote this book, which I pulled his name up here.
He's got like 42 subscribers on his YouTube channel. Lisette, you'd love him.
Yes.
His name is Gor Ksour-Doss Reider, and he has a couple master's degrees. But essentially, I read his history on the back of his book I have over there, and he literally grew up in some Eastern religious communities and studied that in his teens and everything for a while, and then became a monk, and then went to college to take psychology and learn a bunch of stuff. And essentially he's in his 40s or 50s, I would say now, and he's got a great framework. I'm lapping it up.
Yeah.
But he's in his YouTube videos, he's definitely a bit of a blowhard, which is awesome.
Perfect.
You always get from these people who find great shit. But so I love that, having found this guy just showed up in my YouTube algorithm with exactly like 100 subs or something like that last month. So thank the algorithm.
Divine, algorithmic intervention.
We were just talking about it. It's AI based. So coherence. You and I have talked about coherence from the heart math perspective for years, which is the same principle. The idea that what's resonating at the deepest feeling of love and joy and open vagus nerve of the heart is going to be the frequency that feeds the brain and causes the awarenesses of things like harmonies and stepped proportion and beauty, the good, the beautiful, the true, right? They all could be described as the good, the beautiful, the true. The beautiful part has a heck of a lot to do with noticing pattern and symmetry and radiance, and there's just a lot of that's going on. I can pull your thing back up here. It is we're taxing this tab like you wouldn't believe. This tab is like, you can just hear it groaning under the stress.
You're gonna need more compute for that.
Gonna need a little more cowbell over here.
Yeah, this M2 Pro's got it. Let's go.
Redefines flourishing.
Yeah.
It's not the maximization of happiness, wealth, or achievement. Flourishing is the sustained realization of coherence across all dimensions.
I like this graphic.
Domains and time scale.
Yes.
You see how, because it's like, if it all swings together, but it's all an individual equation to balance.
Who is gonna? Let's just say we find a guy. His name's Harvey. Who's gonna do this? Only Harvey can do this, right? Only he can stop the forest fire. It's literally taking the responsibility inside each locus of consciousness that's out there. Yeah. I think about achieving this.
It'd be nice. Yeah. So I'm getting close to the end here. So this is what I was talking about with God in the connections between us. This was the images that I found. As we on a personal scale, we are building our meaning map, and we're able to push a lot of good energy through it, and that's our light to not hide under a candle, or our candle to not hide under a basket or whatever. And then as we use essentially our relationships with other people as catalysts to kind of rewire this web, although there's a lot of elements that can help us do that for sure. And you got that iterative time spiral as well on your side there, and your inherent drive.
Oh, I love
go
this.
forward.
Dude, this is This is amazing. On the left, you're basically giving yourself permission to see where you're disaligned, so that you can go through an integration where you will be a more, as it said in a previous slide, accurate person, a more compassionate person. And the one on the right, it's befuddling to me in many cases. You don't need to fix people. That's such a huge statement. Dude, I'm so involved in fixing people. or pointing out how they're not exactly how they should be, dude. But this is, okay, so in this model, you're like, no, how can you accurately reflect back, you know? It's like the jester with the king. Like, somehow the jester has the
Right.
power of the king,
Jester
but
gets
in
the
a
power. Yeah.
different way.
To bring up, to blend many realities and trying to dance that knife's edge, literally
like-
with his own head.
I guess it's like almost like a relentless focus on the other person not conforming to your will or how you see it, but conforming to the truth, right? Because how would like a compassionate person nudge a compassionate person to be more compassionate person if it was like important?
Right.
Like if they were standing in front of a lever, and if they pulled the lever right, the world survived. And if they didn't pull the lever right, the world didn't survive. You have this huge interest in how they pulled the lever, right? It's like, how do you compassionately influence them to be like, think hard?
Right. And then you get into the subjectivity of truth, right? That
Easily.
like the one view, like, can I trust that my view of how it should be, of what is good, is worth trying to
intervene?
Makes intervention worthwhile. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that the ever existing equation of
right.
Essentially, yeah, we're all running around with the ability to heavily manipulate each other in the depth and timing to which we do so.
Right.
Like we're one organism. Like there is a ton of resonance between us, and what I do in my temple of being matters a ton to what happens in everybody else's. There's no oh, woe is me, like I'm just alive and aware. It's like that's actually the whole game.
Right.
Yeah, sitting in that pocket. If you sit in that pocket, stay in the B, then you're reading reality as correctly and smoothly as you possibly can, pretty much. Yeah.
Respect the hologram.
Respect the moment. Yeah. Right. And then scaling out a little bit more. Community structures end up being webs of people, building. Maybe we could think of this in terms of economic models or something like that, where you kind of bring people onto a team and are able to generate value or create value and either share it or sell it or
trigger an upscale cascade, an upward cascade. That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the physics of healing, hope, and growth. Interesting.
This is like revolutionary.
This is a concept. I think what I maybe was chatting about it with you guys when we were out there, but the concept I have, I don't know if I'm the first person to have, but I've never heard anyone else talk about it, of catastrophic victory.
Yes.
That sounds interesting.
Say more.
Here's the dime store tour of it. We're very familiar with catastrophe when attached to negativity, right? Catastrophe implies and is like translated as like you can't go back. Catastrophic, right? There is no going back to that previous state. Challenger blows up. That is a catastrophic failure. You're not going to put it back together, right? Catastrophic, a wine glass breaking, catastrophic failure. There's no going back. But what if you had that same energy applied in the exact opposite direction and you experienced a catastrophic victory that was, and again, this, another way to understand this is perhaps the hero's journey, right? But the idea that it's so good, it's so positive, it's so powerful, there's no going back.
It's a full change.
It's a full-on change. It's an integration that does not disintegrate.
Lock in.
Wow.
Density.
Like a one-way chemical reaction towards positivity. Dude, okay, out of all coherence as studied by the Heart Math Institute and how they teach the quick coherent technique, that is the way that we taught kids how to meditate when Lakshmi Anand and I met. We met over her vision to create a thing called Earth School, the essential arts for remembering the heart. And this is decades ago now. And we literally were like, we got to teach a meditation method to children. And I was like, I knew complicated ones, but I was like, how do we fix this with kids? I went to the library and I found a book called Meditating with Children, and it was all about coherence and love in the heart. And I was like, that's it, we got it. It was like just answered prayer, basically. And so we taught the kids, and we've been doing it since then, 20 plus, 30, almost 30 years now. And the thing about, after that decades-long practice and journey, I made my pilgrimage to the Heart Math Institute in 2019, right before the pandemic. And I met with the people who had done all the research and who had fired up the first magnetometers that discovered the actual toroidal shape of the human body, like actually, beyond seeing it, just like, there it is, there's your science for it or whatever. And their whole thing, one of the key things that they taught with coherence was this. When you boil it all down, the human emotional experience is a tape loop, Lisette. It's there's constantly a read head and a write head. You are constantly writing into this moment hormones, electricity, intention. There's a mind component, there's a body component, there's all these levels to it. You can get into great detail on it. But in general, there's a feeling that happens here, and that feeling goes into the hormones and echoes out for like 14 hours or whatever. So if you're in a open vagus nerve open state, that is a coherent state. You're letting, they talked about the channels, the vagus nerve feeding the brain, and all this science with good thinking and clear thinking is fed from within by this coherent state. This is build your house on solid foundation rather than build it on sand, which is be fearful and scared, then plan for the future. Your plans are going to suck, kind of thing. So anyway, the core thing that they were saying, and they would not officially say this, I think they're years out from saying this, but trauma is recorded on the loop and it comes back around. If you simply open the vagus nerve and like open your heart and sit in it, essentially, the loop comes all the way around. And this is why when you go on vacation, you have no troubles. You go, and then that's also why it wears off, because you're writing these stressful experiences onto like the tape loop. So the quick coherence technique is about getting into that state and writing it on there. But when I made this pilgrimage, they like keep you in this state for like days on end. And there's just like a whole other world for you on the other side of not like held down by what you just created a beat ago. But whatever the beat is the beat a life? Is it quarter life? It's like there's all these rhythms inside of the resonance, right?
Yeah. Flash up this last slide because it's a great book.
Yes.
And the last slide in my deck here. And it is nothing is truly lost. We'll always come back. The structure remains, even if you're not currently like aware of all that's been written to your tape deck, essentially, and you can keep coming back to it and hidden, not destroyed. Make it accessible again by being in the moment.
Wow, there's a lot of wisdom in this shit.
Perfect.
Wow. Wow.
That is really cool, Peter. Thank you for this curiosity. This is an excellent one.
What a gift.
I was noticing his book wasn't out on Kindle. It was just out physical copy. You're working your way through the physical book?
Literally, the publisher is their foundation, so they're printing their own books.
Nice. Have your own press. That's super
Controlled
cool.
means of production.
Yeah. Vertically integrated.
That's right.
I want to tell you about my curiosity, but I want to talk about other stuff too. Dude, why fire up the Large Hadron Collider? Why figure out what it's all made out of, right? Because of that quantum nature, that rearranging nature of reality. Dude, in that book, The Tao of Physics, they talk about the I Ching, and how there are 64 hexagrams that can be thought of as 64 state patterns for the quantum field. And so basically what's happening is you're passing through one of these 64 states. The 64 is just a resonance window. Like you could have 128 states and you'd have a greater resolution or whatever. But the 64 is like the one that was described. And what the fundamental of it goes from on or off, from being or not being, from yang to yin. That something that is strongly yang for a while will become yin and will yield. Something that is yin will build to be yang. This is like just essentially the rubber band nature of reality. So you start with on off, and then you kind of build out. And the way the I Ching works is you've got a hexagram, which is six strong or weak plus or negative charges stacked on top of each other. The 3 on the top and the 3 on the bottom become like, there's 8 possible ones. There's like fire, water, air, mountain. They have these, and essentially just think of it like a binary state. 3 strong lines is heaven. 3 broken lines is earth, and they kind of occupy this. And then you kind of like, it kind of keeps making these wheels as you kind of back out. Now, in the 15th century, there was a Japanese guy, I think maybe, or maybe a Chinese guy, who came up with a way of reading the I Ching that he mapped out. That was like, okay, start with a 0 line, then make a solid line, then add another one under that's solid. And literally the people that created the computer needed a mathematical system for how to make binary counting function, and they used the same system. So literally the same mathematical system that was used as the original divination device for the quantum nature of reality is the math that is at the binary heart of every computer interaction. So if you were going to make a technology that was in resonance with what was, you'd be hard pressed to find a better way of slicing that pie.
Perfect.
Wow.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Friends,
So-
I have an interjection here, which is that now that we have gotten to the end of Peter, your curiosity, unfortunately, I got to get up in the morning, and we are waning.
Let's adjourn.
Well,
Let's adjourn the curiosities, and we will pick it up. And I love this. I love this last week of the month situation here. Like, do you want to kind of keep your eye on that last week of the month, like that last Thursday in there? We could definitely slot one in. This was like, dude, Peter, you just raised the bar with your presentation. That was amazing.
That was gorgeous.
Dude, let's continue the conversation, a little ink in the well next time. We'll talk about time dilation, and we were talking about astrophage, and we'll leave the ink in the well. It's great ink in the well. We can do some great calligraphy on the next pass. Let's go.
And I've
what a
got
great conversation.
as an offering to close things out, I have 2 haiku.
Oh yay!
Based
Hit it,
on
and then we'll cut to Rebel PBS.
Yes, I love it. I mean, these are technically Senryu,
Thank you.
but who's counting?
Tell us the difference between the Senryu and the haiku, please.
Haiku and Senryu share the same form: 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. Haiku is exclusively about nature.
I see.
Okay.
You can argue, of course, that then you could do something, write one about physics, and it would be haiku, right? But Senryu is about everything else. Same form, different subject matter.
Good to know.
Lovely.
It is, so you are. All things good, beautiful, true. The mosh pit of bliss.
There we go.
And then this
Beautiful.
is the other one.
All
The
right.
jester chuckles, respecting the hologram, dancing the knife's edge.
Yeah.
Shut up. That is fantastic.
Drop the mic.
Wise words. Everyone have a beautiful evening.
Yes.
God bless. Take it
Thank
easy,
you.
Thank
friends.
you so much.
This is so
This
fun.
is a joy.
So fun.
Yes, what fun. Thank you. Woo!
Here we go. We're launching. Well, maybe we are
To the source.
to the source, man. There's a source situation unfolding here. Unfold the situation, source. Unfold the situation, source. God bless America. See you later, guys.
See you, friends.
a secret. The source is a song. I breathe through you, baby, like I rip through a bone. To the source, but of course, but of course, to the
On your
horse. I must find the horse.